welcome back to Two Targets Talk with Robin Barnette and Janice White. This is episode number 18, and we have named this episode What a Difference a Year Makes. And we're doing this episode because we were talking last week, and we started talking about all the things we've accomplished in a year and how we have done certain things in our life to inspire and bring joy to our lives after going through workplace abuse and the trauma. So what a difference a year makes. Now, Janice, I know you're going to have something about a stat. Might it be let us have it about it. What goes on in a year? Tell us.
Right. And you know how much I love my stats. And it's not necessarily a stat that I found about what can happen in a year, but how many years are left to make whatever you want happen. Okay. So this is going to be from the US Census Bureau. Did you know, Robin, that the American population of people 90 plus has almost tripled since 1980, and they expect it to increase over the next 40 years even more. So I wanted to tell everyone kind of what that meant for me. Now, I'm not great with math, but I love it when I'm able to see something like this. So I was 42 years old when I experienced workplace abuse, and it took me a good 2 years, which at the time felt like forever and felt like it would never end. But when you look at this, if I was to live till 90 years old, Robin, that gives me 46 more years to live my life after the 2 years that I spent in turmoil. That's double the age of what I am right now. I have a whole nother lifetime of what I just lived to live again. There is so much of this life left after this abuse, and it's so difficult to see when we're in the midst of the trauma, but there's so much time left. And that was something that I wanted to, it was something that meant a lot to me to be able to figure that out and see that clearly outside of the trauma.
And we wanted to share that because we both had some pretty big changes over the last couple of years. What are some of the tell us about your first year after workplace abuse.
Right. So I'm going on, 4 years since. And so looking at all the different years, it'd be very easy for me to kind of listen what happened every year. But my biggest year of change looking back was my hardest year, which I think is important. It was my first year, right? So some of the things that I did in my very first year was that I started a blog. I joined a movement, simple things too, right? Like I learned how to meditate. I, made a new friend, which was you. Now these might be little things, but they're things that change the trajectory of the rest of my life. And one of the biggest things, but yet the littlest things, was that first year I found something to be grateful for. And that was really the start or the switch to being able to move forward in the way that I did. So what about you? What was your biggest year?
Well, I'm really new, but we know that the first year I just jumped into the movement and started using my voice. We did a whole vlog series on trauma and workplace abuse. But the biggest changes happened to me in the last year was I lived in my house for 25 years, and it's a good time to sell right now. So I figured I'd sell it. And I didn't realize, although it sounded very romantic, it would sell in 2 days and I have to be out in a week. So that was, looking back on that, while I was in it, just like you're in trauma or something, you don't see what changes you're making for the good. That was a week of hair standing up straight. And then me and my dog ended up staying in a hotel. But now we're filming from my new apartment. I overlooked the harbor and the ocean. So it made a big difference in my life. It brought so much joy to live here. I met someone who I really, really like. We talk about that every day. Mm-hmm. And what else? It's just, I wanted to.
And you also just got a new job.
Oh, I started a new job next week.
Yes.
With a really great company. And my direct supervisor has an amazing reputation. One of my friends has worked with her and she's amazing. So, but to get here, all the stuff that we went through at the time, like you said, Janice, when you're in it, you don't really see the changes, but moving forward, having gratitude every day and living with purpose and finding joy is what moves you forward. right?
Right. Right.
So since you love math so much,
Yeah.
what is a year? Exactly.
So I do. I have more for you. So a year is 365 days, 8,760 hours, 525,600 minutes, 31,536,000 seconds. That is a lot of opportunities. You have every second of the day, every minute of the day, every hour of the day, every day of the year to decide that this is going to be the day that you're going to write something on that list that you're going to do, that you're going to overcome a fear, that you're going to do something you always wanted to do, that you're going to join something. And it doesn't have to be everything. It can be one thing. And what a difference a year can make just by making that decision. So many opportunities to see a better year next year.
Live joyfully, inspire others, and move forward, right?
Yes.
That's what it is. So we know that sometimes it's not easy, but we want you to see, we know that, and we've been through it, right, Janice?
Yeah.
The point of this show is to talk about that year and to inspire you to make the choice of gratitude every day and find your purpose, right?
Right. So what do we want them to do this week, right? We want them to tell us
Give
thing.
us some inspiration, share with others, show what are you doing to move your life forward? Because once you move your life forward, it keeps going. You'll find joy and happiness again. It will happen. And you will laugh again.
Right. And you, depending on your age, do the math. How many years do you have left to enjoy this life if you were to be able to live till 90?
Or you can DM Janice and she'll do the math for you. I don't like doing math.
I'm happy to. Yes.
So it's so great to be back. I love you, Janice. We'll talk later. Two targets talk. No silence, no shame, right?
Yeah.
No shame in our game, baby.
That's right, honey.
Bye.
Bye.